and then bring you back in.
Oh, right. I just asked you. All right, cool. Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's myself, the 1AJ, Anthony Jordan.
Double V, Viceroy, Verisimilitude, me too, Nico Lero. Shout out to all my Nicoholics. Back with another top 10.
Indeed. I thought Double V was on another show, but hey, nice to meet you.
Double V is everywhere, my friend.
Okay. All right, fair play. Right, guys. So, in the history of top 10 podcasts, movie Mount Rushmore episodes, none have been more anticipated or built up than this one, because before the world got shut down, this was scheduled to be on. And you know what? What better way to celebrate it than after Freedom Day? So the episode after Freedom Week, we come back to this episode. So this is cool. Gave me a chance to touch up in some areas, to be fair. Still some films still missing off the list, but hey, it was nice, I think. Yeah, it's all good. So should I pass the baton over to you to?
It has been a long time in the pipeline. Like, as you said, this is pre-Global Bastard time.
That's the one. Also, we don't use the C word. Just putting that out there, and we're not talking the swear word. We're talking the global one.
No, I can't say cunt. Nah.
Say that as much as you want, but yeah, the other one ending in 19. Please do not say
19 we don't say.
Yeah, the 19 one we do not say, because hey, we're trying to be monetized, even though the page will be revamped soon. Let's do what we can while we can. But yeah, so it's been one in the making. So Nick, I will pass the baton over to you once again. Would you like to make the introduction?
Yeah, so he's one of my dear friends. I've known the guy now, God, we're coming up for 6-7 years, crazily. I've done a lot of projects with him outside of Silver Screen Dudes. He is currently the owner of a football club.
Yeah.
I make it sound like currently. He does a lot of things, basically. I'm going to let him toot his own horn because he does it oh so well. But I'm going to bring in one of my very close friends now. He is quite big in the YouTube space, so I'm quite happy to have him on also in that respect, not just because he's my bro. But let's bring on Louis Beneventi.
Hey, Louis. How you doing?
Hi.
Welcome.
Yes, I like the way Nico goes. Louis has a massive ego, but I'm going to say it really, really quietly so that he doesn't do anything else.
Louis loves.
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good. Welcome.
Thank you.
As Nico said, we had a bit of a chat while he was dealing with other issues. There is so much to Louis. Please tell us a bit more about Louis for those who aren't familiar.
I basically, I think if you want to imagine Del Boy, but he works in the YouTube space, that is me pretty much. Like I do a lot. So obviously I do Imperial Wharf Football Club, as Nico has already mentioned. I present a show on a channel called Free Bets, like a ranking show, going through best performance from that week, all that sort of stuff. I do another show. We're going to be bringing it back at some point. We've got to do a podcast with Nico called the Chelsea Echo, where we don't refer to the thingy as a global bastard. We call it Kenneth. And then you've got lots of other little bits and bobs as well. I've got my personal channel. I've got lots of other stuff I'm doing. I'm just basically here, there, and everywhere. I'm just, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm basically the person who Nico despises more than anything. Like, I'm basically Will Ferrell. Like, I'm just everywhere. So, yeah.
AJ?
Right. I'm actually going to go into something that was quite funny, actually, because last week we were doing a script. We're going to bring it up later, but we were doing time travel movies. Mm-hmm. And one of the films you brought up was Austin Powers 2. And last night I'm actually showing my nephew Austin Powers for the first time because he's not done it, right? And I was like, Austin Powers 2. And I was like, hold on. Nick didn't mention that part. You enjoyed a Will Ferrell moment, did he? Yeah, I was quite shocked to see him in that. I was like, oh shit.
Breaking his legs. Fucking fantastic. Why would I not enjoy that?
Whenever we're on the touchline or we're having a drink after a game and there's someone new and we mention that Nico doesn't like Will Ferrell, it sparks an hour-long debate about why he doesn't like Will Ferrell. So what about Step Brothers? It's a great film. I just don't like Will Ferrell. It's like consistently.
But the thing is, I don't want to break it to you, Louis. In a way, I kind of agree. Will Ferrell just hasn't done it for me. I think what's happened is again, not knocking you being a younger gentleman than we are, but we were brought up on Jim Carrey. Will Ferrell's just like the cheapest imitation version you could get, like cheaper than Lidl. It just doesn't work.
Lidl's great. He does fantastic meat.
It is. I just know it to be a listen. I've enjoyed a good shot there, but I know the value for money in it. That's what I'm saying. He's just not value. He's just.
Fair enough. I mean, I think that everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and I mean it's literally what this is, this show, isn't it? So
literally,
it's like everyone's entitled to their own opinion on stuff. And like, for me, like I think it is just an age thing. Like Jim Carrey, I think. Well, I was born '97, so I had like the mid to back end of Jim Carrey growing up.
Yeah, you missed the early to mid '90s was when he was at his like '94 was the year of Carrey.
Yeah, but it's like stuff like I love like Ace Ventura. I love like a lot of the other the Mask. To be fair, I was so scared of that growing up. I couldn't watch it. I didn't want to watch it. He scared me. But I think that that overall, I say Jim Carrey. He's just different. Yeah, I watched his recently. He did that show that Jerry Seinfeld does. The comedian in cars getting coffee, and he just watched. I watched the Jim Carrey episode. It was like episode 2, and he's mental off screen as well. Like he's absolutely nuts. Like he's talking about. So he does like all his sweeteners and stuff, and they're in like the old school American booths. They have like Applebee's or whatever and all that sort of stuff. And he got a coffee, and his sweeteners are like the little drops. And he stood on top of. He got them to give him a chair, and he put the chair on top of the table. And he stood on top of the chair on the table, was trying to say, "Can I get it in? Can I get it in?" Just like literally throughout every single time he got a coffee. He had like 3, and he just dropped them in from a distance every single time. Everyone was going like really excited. Jim Carrey's unbelievable. Yeah, for me, like Will Ferrell growing up is just like he's the guy for me. Anchorman is just like for me that was like the first.
I don't get it.
It's the first adult.
Get it? You're being diplomatic, AJ. I don't get it.
Do you know what it is? I must admit, I haven't even. There's part of Anchorman I've not watched the full one, but I'm like, this doesn't work. But honestly, I do believe the biggest killer for Will Ferrell is Elf, because the whole world thinks it's hilarious, and I've just never seen such dumb crap in my life. Like I'm like, what, where is this funny?
I look at it as like that. I watched that. My little brother's 11, so I watched that with him, and he loves it because it is stupid.
Bro. That's fine. You've got full-grown adults walking around saying Elf is the greatest Christmas movie ever, and it's like,
no, that's Die Hard.
Huh? Die
Hard.
Hey, he belongs on the show. Very good. I like that. I always have this debate online with people that say, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. How?
Set on Christmas.
Literally set in Christmas. How the fuck is it not?
Well, Home Alone's a very close second. I love Home Alone.
You're ticking the right boxes here. Welcome to the show.
How long it's been? I actually remember when me and you were talking about this, Nico, because this wasn't even pre-pandemic. I think this was pre-2020. I think we had this conversation like November.
I can tell you when we had this conversation. We had a conversation about doing this podcast when we were on a winter's evening when we were still training at Rayners Lane.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah,
because we went to there's a. Sorry, AJ, I'm just going to bring it. Like me.
No, by all means.
Our special lunch, which you're not invited to. I don't know what happened there. I think that's really bad that Nico never invited you, but whatever.
So two things just before we move on from the thrown under the busness. One, AJ's an Arsenal fan, so not really welcome. 2, he's not even a proper Arsenal fan or a football fan. AJ, let me ask you this. Did you watch a single game in the Euros?
No.
No. Imperial Wharf's not for him.
When me and Nico go and we have our lunches in Willesden Green. There's a fantastic place called Bottega Diana, which he found, and it's just I've recently discovered that they do deliveries now. It's been incredibly dangerous.
We must go there. Actually, their food is sensational.
Yeah, like we were there, and then we couldn't get a table, so we went to the Gales Bakery, which is a bit further up. We sat there for like 3 hours. Like our lunches, we don't like we have a quick one, have a little catch up, and we head back. it was like 3-4 hours just sat there discussing like the nuances of all these different things. And it was at this point where, there's a film later on the list, which Nico thought, he didn't really see the hype around. To which now, because we've waited so long to do this, he texted me, what was it, about 3 months ago? And I now see the hype. I now understand it. I'm like, thank you. It's been years, but it's finally there. But it's, it was that's so long ago. But brilliant.
You're putting words in my mouth. I said I see some of the hype. Some of the hype. Pull the message up.
I think I know the one we're working with.
I think you do, AJ. Louis, in the interest of fairness, as it is going to be on your list, I think we should touch on this debate later.
Yes. Okay. I'll be fine.
Man, jumping the guy like, he said this about this movie. I have evidence.
All right, but going back to Imperial Wharf. No, let me know when the game's on. I don't mind supporting your brothers. That's different from actually. Do you know what? Saying that though, I'm not like a huge football fan, but actually going to watch football is quite fun. Like I have a lot of fun with that. So.
Grassroots it always gets dirty. Grassroots always gets dirty. That's the fun thing about it. You've always got some knobby, bless him, I love him, but like Alfie on the touchline screaming bloody murder at the referee, and then the referees in this league, bless them, are not fit. So they can barely keep up, and they start making these random fucking decisions. Like they're sort of like 20, 30 yards behind the play, and they're like, offside, and we're all there going, how is that? So
I'm not going to quote the match, but I went to see a football match last week, right? Development teams, and the opposition to the team I was supporting literally screamed at their ref. Granted, it was their home pitch.
Yeah.
Something happened, and one of the players went, "Ref, you're about to blow!" And literally, he went, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's literally what happens in our league, though. You could call. There's games where we play against somebody, they'd call something, and the ref would just give it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we're going into a new division where they don't actually do that. Everyone is fully qualified. Yeah. Everybody's dealt with correctly, which will be really exciting. It's the best grassroots league in the country. It has been voted that past couple of years. And having sat in on a couple of meetings with them, fantastic people. So I'm really excited.
Congratulations to you guys.
Yeah, I'm very
love it.
It's going to be really exciting this year. Really exciting. Me and Nico are going to be having a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good coaching again and getting into the once my daughter's born. But yeah.
I really think I'm going to be a dad. That feels so strange.
2021.
It's very soon.
I know.
2021, the year of events for Nico.
Career change.
Starts off with this, then kids on the way. I don't know. Look at you, adult.
I've already told him I'm teaching his kid how to swear, so that's fine.
In Italian?
I'll do it in both. I do English, do Italian. I'll do Italian ones first, because then Nico won't know what she's saying. He'll have to ask me.
It ain't Sesame Street.
It's not Sesame Street. So, you've met Anya, right?
Me?
Yeah. Are you sure you want to incur the wrath of an Eastern European woman?
If I do it and then run away, I'll be okay.
You know she's quick, yeah, for a little thing.
I'll have an Uber outside waiting.
You do like an Uber, that's fair.
They got one back from the event, and it was like I was like, "What am I going to get? It's going to be a Prius." No, I've got a Mercedes C-Class. Got it on a standard one as well. One Uber exec was like, "Oh, look at this! Water in the back, gave me a speaker. Oh, brilliant!"
Fucking man of the people, this one, AJ doesn't go.
Do you know what? No, it does happen.
Uber goes exec.
No, I didn't go exec.
No, he didn't go exec. He didn't go exec, but he got it. Every now and again, you do lightning does strike.
Respect.
Yeah, every now and again, like lightning does strike. You're like 5 numbers on the lottery. This is a winner. We won't go for the full 6, but yeah.
5 numbers on the lottery. That chance would be a fine thing.
Tell me about it. But hey, there we are. Okay, so
movies.
The reason I asked Louis if he will be teaching the future baby Luro to swear in Italian, because that is a segue into our topic for this week. We are talking about movies about Italy. So
movies set in Italy.
Set about. Do you know what? I was like, do I want to put set? Do I want to put about involving Italy? We'll say.
That's good. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Movies involving Italy. That's definitely not going to be the YouTube title, but we'll go with that for the podcast.
Listen, that will do. But like by involving, for anyone listening and forgetting to, because hey, everyone just listens to the Silver Screen Dudes. Why read the title? Hey, there's a new episode. But you know, by involving, it doesn't mean like, oh, Rocky's the Italian stallion. That's a connection. Let's do it. No, that's not.
No.
I tried it, and Nico wasn't happy. He went, no. Oh, okay.
Listen, I was fighting temptation. I was like, he's gonna bury me for it, so don't do it. I was like, but it's there.
What have I always said about this show? You can go nuts as long as you can defend your shit. You've got carte blanche, bro. For one of the top 10 movies of last year, I brought in a fucking video game on the basis that some clever cunt had made a compilation movie of every single cutscene, and it was one of the most engaging things I saw for the entire year. As long as you can defend your shit, you're good.
I think that week I was a bit generous, but hey, I know what you're saying. Yeah, by all means.
We still need to watch that little video game movie. Louis, the video game we're talking about, by the way, is The Last of Us Part 2. It's one of the most harrowing...
That's filmed to be... that's created to be a film.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it's one of the most harrowing, depressing experiences I've ever had, and it was amazing. But actually, just while we're on the topic of Italy, and given that we've been...
While we're on the topic of Italy, do you think it's going to end before the end of the show?
That's a fair point. So, while staying on the topic of Italy and bringing back what we were just talking about with regards to football, and given that my man's name is Beneventi, Louis, you were awfully quiet during the whole Euros.
Yeah.
Now, I need to finally ask you, who were you supporting in the final?
England.
You were supporting England. When Italy won, how were you in pain, or was there a part of you that was like, it's second best, but I kind of still win?
I was in pain for about 30 seconds. And then there was obviously all the horrible Twitter stuff. And obviously living in Wembley, I saw it kicking off. So, I mean, the football didn't really matter to me afterwards. I woke up the next day and realised I'd won 140 quid on a bet because I bet on Italy to win the Euros in like at the beginning of the tournament. So I was like, okay. I didn't care about the actual football after 24 hours. I was there like,
no, it's hard to. It's very hard to keep talking. Someone's at the door.
That is the sad thing about it, is that there was actually the potential that in an ideal sporting world, that match should have been win-win for you. But because of the fallout from it, as you said, it killed any buzz around it all.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like for me. I was an England fan. I don't look at it as a win-win situation. I think for me, I was watching the football and it was just like I want England to win. You know, I was born here, educated here, I work here, I grew up here. Like me and my dad were having the same conversation. He is the son of 2 Italian immigrant parents, but he was born here. But obviously everyone sort of says, oh, well, who do you support? Why is this? Why is this? Why is that? And you kind of sit there and like, well, you know, I can support what I want. I was born here. That's it. That's the one conversation that kept coming up. So with a name like yours, you shouldn't support England. And they're like, well,
that's fucking bullshit, man. That's disgraceful that someone said that to you. My attitude was, you know what? In a final which involves England and Italy, Louis winning at life because he can go whichever way he wants here. I was like, power to the people here, mate.
I went with England, stuck with my roots, and then it's like, but yeah. I mean, the Italians winning, it was great to see all the images in Italy. Sort of like, also obviously for me, it's like, so I've obviously in terms of I say outside of football, the rest of my life I identify more with my Italian side, but football I am English. So it was kind of cool. Like there's Bar Italia in Soho, which is like a family friend's bar. My cousin used to maybe the manager and stuff. And you know, you see how nuts Frith Street was going. Had to close off the roads. Everyone was celebrating. And the village where my family's from, seeing how happy everyone was and what difference it made. Like it was really nice. But I was still sat there going, I can't believe we lost. So it's like I just sat there going, it's as an England fan, it was gutting. Yeah. But I mean, we're not here to talk about football. I could go on about that for a whole hour. But
and we've done our fair bit on our shock and disgust at what happened after the Euros, but that seems to be old news now. But kind of in celebration of you being here, in celebration of your Italian heritage, in celebration of Italy winning the Euro, I guess. Can't believe those just came out of my mouth. But yeah, we are going to talk about the top 10 movies set in Italy. So, do I give a quick rundown on how the show works, AJ, or is there anything else to add?
No, I concur with everything. Yeah, go for it. The floor is yours.
So for those of you tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. If you are new to the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast and you are watching us on YouTube, please be sure to give the video a like, hit subscribe on the channel, and share the video with anyone who you think may be interested. If you are listening to us on podcasts, we are available on both iOS and Android, all the platforms. We're available on Spotify. We are everywhere. If you like the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast, tell a friend and help us keep growing. We're at over 30,000 followers now, and it's great. And that's down to you guys, and we're very grateful for you. How does the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast actually work? It's a little bit different when we've got a guest on. This week, I will go first, delivering my bottom 4. AJ will then deliver his bottom 4. Louis will deliver his bottom 4. After that, I will deliver my following 3. AJ will deliver his following 3. And Louis will deliver his following 3. And then we will trade our top 3 at 1 apiece. However, if at any point one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say...
punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the higher position. Once we have all rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create the Movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of the genre, which this week is...
movies set in Italy.
Hey, very good.
Right, so what I just want to clarify quickly again for those listening and for you, Louis, when we say a movie in a higher position, that is out of the top. So if, for instance, I have a film that's number 9 and it's your number 8 or anything from 10 till 6, right?
Same bracket, basically, mate.
Yeah, so if it's in the same bracket, you could talk about it straight away. If not, it classifies as a punt. So if it's higher than 6, yeah.
10, 9, 8, 7. So those bottom 4, all same bracket, yeah? So as AJ said, if he's got a movie in 9 and you've got it in 7, that's your point to just say, it's my number 7, let's talk about it.
Okay, all right. So
if it's like 6 or above, then you punt. You say punt and we'll bring up ta-da.
Cool. All right, sounds good.
Make sense?
Yep, good. Ready to go. Let's have it.
So we're doing it in this order, right? You, me, Louis.
Clockwise, bro, starting with me.
Cool.
All right. In at my number 10, I'm going to ask the Italians permission here to if I can actually put this on or not, because politically, some would argue that this isn't set in Italy. It's set in the Vatican, but geographically, it's the same damn body. It's the same landmass. But I'm going to go number 10, Tom Hanks. It's the second in the Robert Lundgren series, Angels and Demons. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Either of you seen it?
No. I'll tell you what, I've seen Da Vinci Code ages ago. And I was confused as hell. Confused as hell. And I was like, for this is the time to do it. But I forgot, and then I was coming back, and then I was like, I still want to watch Da Vinci Code again before doing this. So I hadn't actually had a chance to do it.
Here's the thing. You do not need to have seen the Da Vinci Code to have watched Angels and Demons. The two are not connected. It's the same character, completely different storyline. Da Vinci Code, the book was fun. I mean, Da Vinci Code for like Christian mythology is to Christian mythology what Fast and Furious is to Cars. It's stupid fun, right? You know, spoiler for the ending, but you've seen it. It's like if you're trying to get me to believe that the fucking body of the Virgin Mary is underneath the Louvre pyramid in Paris, you're pulling my strings. It's fun. I like it, but bullshit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Angels and Demons is a completely different story. This one is set in the Vatican. It's nothing to do with the Holy Grail. It's the Illuminati trying to take over I've forgotten how to say it in English, the Popery. So they're trying to plant someone to become the Pope because the Pope has just died. So it's a fascinating movie. And it's got quite a good supporting cast too. You've got the likes of Ewan McGregor in there. So it's good. It's a really, really good adventure. And it's definitely a step up from the Da Vinci Code.
Cool. Nice. I'd love to know.
I
believe it's on Netflix. So I believe it's on
on
Netflix. Yeah,
I believe it is. My number 9. I'm going to make an educated guess here and say that Louis is about to drop the P word on me. My number 9 is The Godfather.
Han.
That is actually a punt on my end as well, actually.
Oh, fair
yeah.
play.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Fair play. All right, so we'll pump for that one. My number 8, I know you won't have seen this one. This is quite an old school one. My number 8 with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. Don't Look Now.
No, can't even say I heard of it.
So this is one my dad showed me back when I was going through I must have been about 15, and I was going through my sort of self-education of film and trying to go back through all the 70s and 80s movies. The 70s and 80s were a weird time for horror because a lot of people look back on them now and say that this is some of the most seminal work that's ever been done. Between this and things like Rosemary's Baby, those are horror movies. The Omen, those are movies that are regarded in high esteem. They've never scared me the way that something like that fucking nun in The Conjuring scares me. But there's something to be said about Don't Look Now. The way it's directed is almost like an impressionist painting. It's never obvious in its narrative. It's all very, very underplayed. Even the way the camera work is done is almost like a sort of Monet painting. It's a film essentially about grief. It's a father and mother who have lost their daughter, and the father starts having images of the daughter running around in the little red coat that she drowned in while on a trip in Venice. And instead of putting them aside and saying, these are apparitions, this is PTSD, he's convinced himself that these apparitions are real and that his daughter is still alive. And the movie tricks you into thinking that maybe she is, because the apparitions become more and more and more and more real. And I won't reveal what happens at the end, but it is intriguing to say the least.
My old man, I don't like horror films. I honestly, I'm scared of anything, and I quite like sleeping at night. So I kind of thought, let's give most of these a miss. My dad's the same, and we both watched this together when I was about 14. And he'd seen it for years before. It was like an unbelievable film. It's a really good film as well. And it's like you're saying about the shots. It's just the way artistically it just looks, and it's the pop of red every time. Sort of, because if you've been to Venice, other than when you're obviously there for festivals, that sort of stuff, it's very, it's not run down, but it's the buildings obviously are eroded from all the water, and it's very rustic. And then you just have this little pop of red every so often.
Yeah.
And it's like that I think it's like it just adds a difference, and I love that stuff. It's little differences there. And I was going to put it on the list. I didn't put it because I thought, I've not seen it for a long time, and I thought other things which I thought were better. And I like the way I've done mine is I've done it very emotively in terms of how it ranks. In terms of, my dad will come up in the conversation quite a lot.
Good.
So I could watch them all with him really. But it's the how everything is shot. That film is wonderful. It's wonderful.
I'm glad we've got another fan of Don't Look Now. I love it. Right. You've all seen this one, and there's a weird rumor going around for my number 7 that it's set in Switzerland. And everyone who says that, slap. It's set in Tuscany. All right. My number 7, we're going way back to 1940 here, and we're bringing in Disney's Pinocchio.
Honourable for me. I'll be honest, there's Louis, I don't know if you know about it, but there is actually an Italian film of Pinocchio that was released in 2019, and I tried to catch that. And that's why I didn't put this one in, because I was so gutted I didn't get to see the other one.
I didn't realise there was an Italian version of Pinocchio. That's nuts. I did think it was set in Switzerland.
Everyone does for some reason, but it's set in Tuscany.
I didn't realise that. I knew the original story was, but then it was like, yeah, I think it was the clothes that woke me up when I was a kid.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that makes me always go like, how can you think this is set in Switzerland? Where does Pinocchio go at the end of the movie?
I can't remember. It's years since I've seen it.
It's been a while for me.
Whale. There's a fucking whale. Switzerland is a landlocked country.
Could have been on his holidays.
Jesus.
Thomas Cook. He flew to Tuscany and then got away from there.
This fucking guy. I swear Thomas Cook are bankrupt now, aren't they? Didn't they?
Yeah,
go
they're
under?
now TUI. Yeah, now TUI.
TUI absorbed Thomas Cook, didn't they? Yeah.
I like that. It's gone on holiday to Wales, like that.
To what?
This is where we find out that Pinocchio is actually set in Cardiff. We go.
Go on, Louis. Do a Welsh accent. I know you're dying to do it.
I don't have to, but from the valleys, you see. I see that you see that little Pinocchio fella. That's over there in the whale.
Wait.
Right on the coast.
His nose is large. Love it. Look, Pinocchio is a really good story. I think. I mean, I'm saying this more as as a father to be now, but this is a damn good story to tell your kids. It's like, if you lie, we're gonna find out, and there's repercussions, right? That's the crux of the movie, essentially. Obviously, there's the whole fairy tale about a wooden boy wanting to become a real boy, and then there's very nice subliminal undertones of that, of what does it mean to be human? Is it having a soul? Is it the actions you do? So there's all sorts of wonderful things going on with Pinocchio. I have to say, I am so excited for the remake of this film because Tom Hanks is playing Geppetto. That is
nice.
perfect.
It sounds nice. I am actually excited for it myself, actually.
I mean,
And also, let's remember
you'll Shrek
people...
for me. That's the best remake of Pinocchio I've ever seen.
I'm a real boy. Oh, dang it. It's a wonderful film. I think it's criminally underrated, actually, as a Disney film, because people will always pull your Jungle Books, your Aladdins, your Beauty and the Beasts, your Snow Whites if you go classic. Even Dumbo gets mentioned more than Pinocchio, which I think is a fucking crime because this is a far superior movie to Dumbo. And Disney love it so much that the opening of the Disney logo, it's Wish Upon a Star. That's from Pinocchio, so they obviously hold it in high regard too. But yeah, wonderful movie top to bottom, and that's my bottom 4.
Okay,
AJ, over to you.
Right. Okay. In at number 10 for me, we have Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie in The Tourist.
So first off, it's Johnny Depp, not Brad Pitt, and secondly,
why did I say that? That is,
I don't know. But I'm going to stop you saying more because punt.
Yeah, apologies. The brain is, I've got other stuff on the mind. Obviously not Brad Pitt when I say that, but I was thinking Angelina. I was like, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, whatever. Yeah, Johnny Depp, apologies. But yeah, punt, fair enough. All right, cool. Nico, 3 things are guaranteed in life.
Death, taxes, and AJ talking about comic book movies.
Right, so I couldn't do comic books directly, so I just brought in Iron Man and Aunt May in Only You, Robert Downey Jr. and Marissa Tomei.
Oh, you fucked up there, mate. You fucked up there because you could have brought in comic book movies. Where is Spider Man Far From Home set?
I didn't want to do that.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I literally just thought of another one when we were talking about Venice. I want to change to mine, but I can't do it now.
You technically can. If you put it in the private chat, you can upload the image.
Okay. Keep talking. I'm gonna double check it.
Just put your number in. Just put your number in.
WhatsApp me. Tell me where you want it. Make it easy. Make it one of the bottom 4, please.
No, but even if bro, it's just a scroll. It's fine. No, so I could have done Far From Home. The reason I didn't is because Far From Home travels throughout Europe as opposed to being set in Italy. It has I am going to take that back later on because there is a film that has just a moment in Italy, but I was like, no, allow it. This film actually was completely set in Italy. It's all about Marissa Tomei following fate, essentially, what she followed a prank by her brother on a Ouija board. Actually, that's a bit of a spoiler, but who cares? It's old enough. And it's all about believing she's meant to meet this guy. And coincidentally, while looking for him, she screams out the name. And Robert Downey Jr., being this chancer that he is, answers to the name. And it's a budding romantic comedy of opportunity. And do you follow fate because of what's predestined? And it's cheesy stuff, but it was a good laugh. Seen it with the missus a few times and she enjoys it. So
this is pre-return to fame, Robert Downey Jr. Isn't
yeah. This is 1994. This is way before he was Iron Man. Tony Stark wasn't even a thought to him, or to Marvel at that time. Like, I think this is just before maybe My Cousin Vinny from Marissa Tomei. Like we are talking.
Wow.
Like, I could be wrong.
He wasn't born yet.
Damn. Yeah, this is true.
There's a film we're going to talk about later which came out the day I was born. I didn't even realise.
Cool. So it's one of those easy watching romantic films. You can kind of guess where it goes, but it's nice. It's easy to watch, and I recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. If you're into those kind of films or you're looking for one with the missus, nice little film. Okay, so that was my number 9. In at number 8, I'm actually happy I've got a chance to have finally seen this. Like, this was the push because I kept saying I want to see it and I hadn't got round to it. I'm talking Luca.
Louis, where does that feature for you?
Coming in?
That's the one I've taken out.
Oh, fair play.
Okay. You haven't messaged me yet.
What I've just taken out. I think Luca's a great film. I watched it with it's another one I watched I think like for him, so he's only really just trying to sort of understand the Italian side of him a bit more. And obviously Luca's set in southern Italy, whereas my family's from northern Italy. I think just the way that it was shot, and I really, again, I like the artistic side of editing and all that sort of stuff. That's kind of, when I watch films, I notice those little bits now. And I thought the way that it was shot, and also obviously it's like a new school Disney film. You know, it's very much sort of now in that category, which was after sort of Inside Out. It's kind of all that sort of vibe, like that soul. Like, I really liked it. I think it was, you know, it's enough. A Disney film is good when it makes a grown man try and hold back tears. So that's kind of like the certain elements of that where it's like, you know, I just enjoyed the story, and I like the little Vespa. That's my favourite. I love the little Vespa.
Yeah. It's really weird. You know what I liked about Luca was the true to tradition that it gave to Italy. So as much as it's got English speaking, all of the books that you looked at or anything that was written on the signs were Italian.
Yeah.
You know, they break out. There were words of Italian that break out into it, and it just really made you have to embrace Italy when watching it. You know, and that's what I really liked about it. Essentially, it's the story of two sea creatures. I'm not going to call them sea monsters, who realize that, well, one who's living an adventure, and the other sea creature, being Luca, has always been kind of scared of breaking the surface because that's what's been taught to him by his family. Like, don't go to the surface. Like, you know, man will kill you. It's the kind of Finding Nemo type story of like stay back. And then one fateful day, he breaks the surface and realizes that once they come out of the water, they are human. And it's just this whole journey. He falls out with his parents and he starts to live as a human. He starts to live on land as opposed to in the water, and obviously trying to, anytime he gets wet, he can be revealed. And it's this huge journey of wanting to get a Vespa, essentially, between him and his friend. It's nice. It's a really nice story. It's really sweet. I had fun with it.
It's one I still want to get around to seeing. I haven't got around to it yet.
There was a whole news story around it recently where they're saying it's the first one where they're saying that there's like the first openly gay character in a Disney film. Or in Pixar, there was a whole feel around.
Pixar, maybe, definitely not Disney. Disney have confirmed that LeFou from Beauty and the Beast is gay.
But in the animation or in the film?
No, in the film.
Yeah.
Which I think that's also quite cool. It shows steps going forward in that as well. But yeah, it's great. I think it's a really nice little film.
The only thing that I saw from the promotional trailers that made me go, really? Was, okay, so here's the thing. Coco, Mexico, yes, they're speaking English, but it's with a Mexican accent, you know? I heard this, I was like, they're in Italy, but they're speaking English with an American accent. Why?
Do you know it's weird? It's the sea creatures that do, whereas most of the other characters are with an Italian accent. It's weird. It's like underwater. American.
Maybe they speak American under the waves. Get the fuck out of here.
If you turn the corner, then you're Caribbean like Sebastian. Why did I make him Indian? But I'm like, yeah.
Ariel, come home, Ariel.
Yeah, it depends how under the sea you actually go. You know, if you're near the surface, you're American. Closer down, you're down with Sebastian.
You're down with Sebastian, yeah, man. I love it.
Yeah, no, but great film, Nick. Honestly, I think you'll enjoy it.
I'm just sad that it went straight to Disney Plus. Why didn't this get a cinema release?
COVID. It's the only reason it didn't get it. Or can it?
You've just fucked us on monetization.
No, you'll be fine. You can say it once. It's yeah, no, Kenny. That's the reason. I was doing a bit of reading on it because I knew we'd talk about it.
Yeah.
It got a full cinematic release in Italy, the aquarium in Genoa, the National Aquarium. So showing it all in there for like 3 days, and then I think it got a 1 week release in the US. Everywhere else where Disney was, but on Disney Plus, it wasn't on Disney Plus. They got a theatrical release. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's one of those. Anything 2021, early 2021, anything 2020. It's very unfortunate. I think this could have done really well in the cinema, actually, but yeah, it's the way of the world.
Indeed.
But yeah.
Right, carry on, guys. I'm just updating Louis.
Well, I mean, that's kind of awkward because I mean, it's all now to do with where Louis' actual number 10 is. Yeah.
Are we on Louis' number 10 now?
That was me. That was my number 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got one more to go, big man.
Yeah, there we go. I'm in old school territory. On a normal episode, it would be there. So here we go. In at number 7 for me, the talented Mr. Ripley.
Ah, fuck! Why you gotta do that, AJ? Punt.
Sorry. So as I said, we're at Louis' number 10. But
all right. Vamp, give me a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, yeah, no, I actually really like the fact that it was that in the aquarium while talking to Luca. I kind of read a bit about that, but it's one of those things to be celebrated. And, you know, going back to what you were saying when talking about Soul, even looking at Coco, I like the fact that Pixar are expanding territories. It's not like your usual, here we are set in America, this is your cartoon. They're actually like spreading, diversifying, giving us a little something to embrace and take on. So this was cool. For some reason, I have heard some people weren't overly excited by Luca. Don't know why.
I understand why people weren't overly excited. I think there's elements of it where they're like, nah, it's just like I think it was no this one. And also, I actually think everything that's happened over the past 18 months has actually taken a toll on how people feel about films. So it's almost like where people have had so much time off. It's you've not had the same special sort of relationship. Oh, I'm going to sit down and watch a film now. It's very much a case of we're there, so we're going to keep just whack on film, whack on a film.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was saying it to my friend the other day. We were talking about something, and I'm coming up to 2 years with the missus, and it was like, how's the relationship been? And I'm like, for better or worse, so we've been in a Kenneth relationship because it's like that sounds weird to say, but it's like you've just yeah, everything has been done. You know, like normally you go to work, you do something, you catch up, you come back. Because everyone's been in this world of just lockdown, anytime we have stepped out, it's like Nando's is not even exciting anymore. It's been done to death. Like we got so bored of all the restaurants and pubs around us that it even became we've done it. Should we just go to McDonald's? Like no disrespect to McDonald's, but it's not exactly a date territory, is it? But it was like
it's rough. And I think everything's because everything's been done to this so much. Like it was like, oh, can someone recommend a Netflix series? You're like, what do you want to watch? Like we watched everything, and I think it's just like the relationship with film and TV now. I think it's just like it's now. It's tough because I think that's why Luca didn't get the hype, and also I don't think he got the best marketing either.
No, not at all.
Oh, Luca's out. Oh, is it? I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
So the way I liked it, it's like stuff like where the way I found out it was out was I watched a guy called Binging with Babish. I love his cooking stuff, and he basically cooks things from TV and film. And it's brilliant. It shows you how to do it. And he did the pasta from Luca with the potatoes, and I was like, oh, didn't realise I was out. I go, what? I'm going like, and the fact I had to sit there and like, I have Disney Plus. I have notifications turned on, and I still didn't realise it was happening.
Yeah. And this was without Premier Access or anything. It's just there for free.
Yeah.
Raya also hurt me because that I still haven't got around to even watching.
No,
It's there
neither
for
have I.
free. It's like,
neither have I.
and that's right up my street. You know, a movie set in Thailand about Thai folklore. I'm like, why have I not watched that yet? It's madness. Anyway, Louis, your number 10 is your number 10, 9, 8, 7 are all ready to go, mate. So over to you.
Okay, so my number 10, I changed it. I'll put what I did have. I'll say I did have Luca, and I had La Dolce Vita. Now, taking those two out, and I know people are like, why taking La Dolce Vita out? I have not seen it since I was a kid, so I'm not going to really be able to give you too much.
Forget it.
So I was like, okay, we'll take it out, we'll go somewhere else. So I've gone for number 10, I've gone Spider Man, as we discussed it. I saw this film for the first time about a month. It was about a month ago. It was the first film I watched when I moved into my new place. First thing I put on, and I thought it was brilliant. I think in terms of the story, I think it was really nice. Kind of obviously because it's set after Endgame. It was kind of the first one which kind of brought it full circle, and had the whole relationship with the glasses and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, for people that haven't seen it, obviously Mysterio in it at first.
I'm sorry. I need to time out you there. And AJ, I know I'm pretty sure you're going to back me up. If you liked the shit Mysterio is doing, you are going to lose your mind when you see Doctor Strange.
I didn't like it. I thought it was cool. I thought
you will have, put it this way. I honestly believe. Listen to your judgment. I think you will have fun with Doctor Strange. I think for Nick, it's always going to be something that he's going to lose his shit for because this was his comic, right? You can, but as a general comic book fan who've only seen Doctor Strange in the Spider-Man cartoon, again released before you were born, there's a lot of great fun to have with that film. A lot of great fun to have.
Yeah, that might be something you don't know about me, Louis. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time, but and I mean close, very close second from before the MCU was ever an idea in Disney's eye was Doctor Strange. AJ, I'll tell you, I was running around when we were at school together going, by the hoary hosts of Hoggoth, and people are like, the fuck is wrong with this white boy? No one knew what the fuck I was talking about. It's Doctor Strange. He's awesome. So he's not even that strong. He's the strongest character ever. Like, you were fighting Thanos. That's cool. He's creating a fucking universe. He's so strong. He's amazing. Hey, Louis, you must see Doctor Strange. Please.
Give it a shot. You will have fun with it.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a shot.
But more to the point, yes, you did mention Mysterio with Spider-Man.
I've not seen Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel, and then I said that I'm watching because I don't really like Benedict Cumberbatch, and I don't like Brie Larson, and then Nico actually physically walked off for a solid 5 minutes, but he didn't come back. It was quite funny, but yeah, no. So for me, yeah, I mean, but this Spider-Man film, I think. Now, obviously, it's touch and go, much like my next one. But I'm still like, okay, it's got.
No, it's a goodie.
A huge chunk of it's in Venice.
Yeah, but I think the film. I think I love the teacher. He's so funny. The teacher they've got inspired. He's just so useless, and it's always you have that Tweedledee, Tweedledum character with the two teachers. You've got the whole arc in terms of the story. I think everything is just just really, really well put together, and I think that's the beauty of all these the Marvel films. Now that Spider-Man is in the MCU, like I loved Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I loved them growing up.
Which one?
I loved all of them. I even loved Spider-Man 3. I loved it because I love Venom. Venom's like one of my favorite characters. I just think he's awesome. Although I do look back now, and I'm not sure about the dusted tips. What's it? The frosted tips. Sorry, characters that they had. I know it was the early noughties, but still frosted tips. Not so sure about that. And it's like for me, like whenever I see James Franco is not the guy from Pineapple Express. He's the Green Goblin. That's who he is to me. He's the second coming of the Green Goblin. That's what will always be. But I think that I like what Tom Holland's doing. I think he's a really good casting role for it as well. And I think that everything that he's brought to the character is actually kind of brought it all back home. Like, I don't feel Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire had like they didn't have the schoolboy sort of vibe to them for me.
Agreed.
And now I look at Tom Holland. He's just like, you know, obviously he's well built, but you know, he was a skinny little lad. You know, just like went to school actually, and then he got all these like superpowers and sick, and it brings it all back home. And yeah, I think it's a great film. My number 9 is, again, touch and go. He only went there in the end. I put Casino Royale. Again, there's another one I changed. I love James Bond, so I've got every single one on Blu-ray.
You're in good company. You're in good company. What's your favorite Bond? Just while we've got you on, what's your favorite Bond movie? My
favorite Bond movie is Goldeneye.
Yay! Very good.
What was the first one you watched? Actually, that's the interesting one, because that's from my dad in this. What's the first James Bond you watched?
Thunderball.
Properly, GoldenEye was actually my first one. I used to catch them here and there and then watch them. Like, I then caught up with them, but GoldenEye was the first one. But
so I watched on Her Majesty's Secret Service was my first one.
Why do people hate on that film?
I don't know. I think it's great.
It is great.
I love it. That was my dad's first one. He was like, right, I'm going to show you the first one I watched, and we're going to watch them all. And we had all the DVDs. I think that if there's any James Bond to be hated on, I think it's Timothy Dalton, because he was rubbish. I don't rate him. He's the worst one out of them.
He as a Bond wasn't great, but the movies he was in were mostly damn good. Like License to Kill is a solid James Bond movie.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't tell for a while, but yeah, I mean, for me, like Casino Royale, I remember that was the first Bond I watched in the cinema. So I was, 2008? I was 10 when that came out in the cinema.
Me, Jesus.
I remember going to watch it with my dad and my best friend, and we went to watch it, and it was like, even then we came out, and my dad was just banging on about how Daniel Craig as James Bond just made driving a Ford Focus look good. That is my dad's takeaway from that entire film. He made driving a Ford Focus look good. I was like, how is that the takeaway from this entire thing? But I liked the film itself. You know, I think that Daniel Craig has brought something different to James Bond. I think it brought it kicking and screaming into the 21st century. There was like the outdated side of sort of like, you know, just really suave and sophisticated all the time and all this sort of stuff, not really having any grit to it. Whereas I think as movies have matured and developed in the 21st century, he kind of brought that new style to it. Still had the element of grittiness, of suaveness, and you know, had that sophistication to it. But I think overall he just brought something completely different to the character. I remember my dad, we were watching it, and my dad had seen, obviously that came out in 2008, he was talking about when he got cast, it was just after Layer Cake had come out. And it was a scene in Layer Cake where he's holding the gun. And I've watched, that is my favourite gangster film of all time. But I could easily
Layer Cake is excellent.
Like, it's the way he's holding the gun, and you're like, it looks right. That was just the whole thing about him being blonde hair, blue eyed. But I think, you know, that doesn't matter now. And I think that what he's brought to the role. I mean, really? I mean, I think there's, for me, yeah, on how Ian Fleming wrote the character, as somebody who's been through, had a small career in acting, where it's very particular about how you need to look, I think that there is a certain thing where you kind of like, okay, I get that. But I think it's developed the role. And I think, look, that last scene in Venice, it's when the buildings are collapsing, and it kind of like...
It's excellent.
It's and then you don't realise it until you see the later Bond films, until you see Skyfall.
Yeah.
Skyfall. I've still not seen Spectre. That's on my list to watch.
It's good.
This week, I'm actually going to watch it. Until you see...
I prefer it to Casino Royale, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, Casino Royale, I think it's because it was the first one in a long time, when it was like 2002. It had like 6 years wait. And the character arc, you see the beginning of it going almost back into the Dr. No sort of how he gets to that stage.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how big a part of Eva Green plays now. She was like my first actual ever cinema crush as well. When I was a kid.
Berlin, huh?
Yeah, West Berlin was my first one. I was like, oh yeah, as a 10-year-old.
You need to watch. You need to watch Sin City 2 then, because it's Ava Green with her tits out for the whole movie. You'll have a great time.
No, I've seen that. That was fun. But yeah, for me, I think I love Casino Royale. I think it's my favorite. Yeah, I'd say it's my Daniel Craig one.
Really, over Skyfall?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm weird. I think Skyfall was great, and I think the action sequence at the end was fantastic, and I like the way it brought it all full circle. But I liked for me, I think my favourite thing in Daniel Craig era was that parkour chase at the beginning of the film.
Oh, it was superb. That opening scene is fantastic.
Yeah, and it was all real as well. But I think it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was all real. Having happened.
Isn't it funny how different we all are with movies? Because everything you've just said you like about the new Bond, Louis, is the stuff I condemn. I still, after 4 movies, 5 if you count No Time to Die, I still have not warmed to Daniel Craig as Bond. He doesn't have. This is again a personal thing. He doesn't have that suaveness for me. I'll never forget. There's 2 things in Casino Royale which for me killed him as Bond for me. One was the first time he appeared in his tuxedo and did that little pout, and I thought, Chav Bond. And he looked awful for me. And the other was when he was coming out the water with his Speedos like Sean Connery did in Dr. No. But whereas Sean Connery had a very slender frame, Craig's a big lad. And I thought, you look like a computer-generated orangutan. Like you're...
No, but I think it's the difference now in terms of how films have aged and how society's changed. It's representation, is it not? What people are after at that point in time. Like Sean Connery, hairy, slender. People are like, yeah, I like that. Now it's like, well, what the hell? Like, and it's almost like I think like whenever I speak to people my age, especially women, and we talk about we ask about James Bond, it's like they prefer Daniel Craig because it's a more representative of modern society. Whereas you look at,
is it?
That's what they felt. They said if he's more representative of how he's more of a representation of what people want and how people mentally think now. Whereas they look back at Sean Connery like, yeah, he's classy, he's good looking bloke. They said, but he's a little bit sleazy. So I think I'm like, right, okay. Obviously, there's lots of different things within the whole thing, but like sort of people my age prefer. Me personally, and quite a few of my mates, we're very much Pierce Brosnanites, and that's who we are.
Yes.
Good. Even though we grew up with Daniel Craig, but I look at who they're potentially looking to cast as the next ones, and I'm like, I don't think there's anyone out there right now.
There's 3 guys for me.
Because we went through this, Nico. Who are your 3 again?
Michael Fassbender, because I think he's at a stage now where he's been in the obscurity for long enough, and he's had a bit of a career dip that people aren't associating him as being a big star anymore. And I do think it's quite important that, although this is going to completely negate my next 2 entries, which is why Fassbender is my number 1. Fassbender looks the type. He's got that dark look, even though some people say he's a ginger. Fucking, put some more black in the man's hair. Fassbender would be an amazing pick. Women really do like him, so he's got the sex appeal. He looks like he's got that aggressive violence in him that Brosnan had. But the other 2, they're megastars, but I think they'd fit the part. Like if you've seen season 1 of Loki, Tom Hiddleston when he's playing DB Cooper and he's got his hair slicked back and he's in the tuxedo, I'm like, you're Bond. You look like Bond. It's unreal. And the 3rd one, never going to happen, but it would be my dream pick, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill's like Daniel Craig. He's big. That goes against everything you said about Daniel Craig.
But Henry Cavill is suave and debonair, whereas I don't think Daniel Craig has that. That's not one of those things you can act. That's something you've either got or you don't. You look at Pierce Brosnan, he's got that je ne sais quoi. Timothy Dalton, very similar in looks to Pierce Brosnan, if you think about it, did not have that je ne sais quoi. Henry Cavill's got that special thing that I think Bond needs.
Henry Cavill was my favourite out of those three. I think he's got everything there. I think I still, even though I agree with you, when I saw Tom Hiddleston as DB Cooper in the Loki thing, I think he's too skinny. He's too skinny.
This is what kind of
body change can be done like that. Look at Kumail Nanjiani in The Eternals. He was a skinny little pot-bellied Indian in AJ, what's the Amazon movie he did with his wife? Help me.
I was going to say Big Sick. Is it Big Sick?
Big Sick. The Big Sick. You know, he was a tubby little pot-bellied Indian in that. Have you seen Kumail Nanjiani now? Man's been eating some chicken. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal.
It's not to say it's impossible, but it's the and I'm not putting this against Hiddleston. It's the commitment to want to do that. Whereas you got someone like Henry Cavill, he's pre-made. It's there. Fassbender, I think Fassbender, in a way, I agree with you. I think Fassbender would be my front runner. I think he would just fit the mold. Cavill would be perfect, but I think he's just got other plans, and I don't think he's ready to be settled down as Bond just yet. Put it that way.
I mean, that was the problem that Daniel Craig had, wasn't it? He took the role. It was almost too early. Even though he's older now, it's like he's now there. Like, I want to do other things, but I just can't. I'm now Bond, and that's it. I know. When you can think about people who stopped being Bond afterwards, like Pierce Brosnan. Let's be honest, his career went like that. Nosedive. Let's be honest. I say I feel anyway.
No, I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think. Well, nobody's really recovered. Nobody. I'm looking at Timothy.
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Did he go? Did he recover, or was it just very much like a?
Sean Connery had a massive career after Bond. Massive. Look up his.
The rest of them, I'll listen to you. The rest of them, I'll listen to you on that noise. But I think Connery was pretty big.
On the show a minute. I need to bring these to the missus downstairs.
Right. Okay.
Get me off camera, please, AJ.
Okay. So while we're on that topic, Louis, would you like to? Who would be your top three?
My top three Bonds. I think Cavill would be mine. He'd be my number one. You know what? Let me get this up because I looked at this whole thing. Me and Nico had like a 3-hour conversation about it, and I actually want to look up. So I want to say something where, I'm not good at. We might have forgotten about somebody, but we should look at it and go, "What about this guy?" No. Well, someone's put forward Tom Holland, but I think he fits into he's too young.
Yeah, way too young.
Cillian Murphy was put forward.
I don't know if he has the Bond swag. no disrespect to him when I say that.
These ones here. So the Esquire have done it. They've gone Tom Hardy. He was on my list because he does have that suaveness.
Yeah.
As a boy from Southwest London, he can definitely do it. I think Tom Holland's on there for me personally.
Hardy,
sorry?
Did you say Tom Holland or Tom Hardy there?
Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy.
Right.
So I might have said Tom Holland, but yeah, I meant Tom Hardy. They put Robert Pattinson, but no, that won't work. James Norton, I can't see. This guy called Sam Hugen, no, not here. This fella here. That was it. That was my other one. Richard Madden.
Yeah.
My Tom Hardy, Richard Madden, Henry Cavill. Those are my three. I think Richard Madden, when I saw him in Rocket Man in like the suit, even though it was a 70s suit, it looked right. It fitted. And obviously he's got that ruggedness from when he was doing stuff.
Yeah.
Or that BBC drama he did where he was ex-military. Like he had that.
I can't remember the name of that show, but yeah.
That'll be my three. Tom Hardy, like Nico, because he's not here. You won't get angry at me. Tom Hardy is my personal front runner. I think, like I'm saying, it's a case of you're looking at how people hold themselves, and you're looking at how modern society views it. Tom Hardy, if you're talking to women, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I speak for all women. I know I've said I'm trying to do that, but when I speak to most girls that are my age, I know. But who's on your list with the top 5, 6 men odd? Tom Hardy, 9 times out of 10, is there. So he's got the sex appeal. He can do the voice. He doesn't. He doesn't actually sound like he does in Batman or he does in Peaky Blinders. He actually is he's a posh boy. So he can hold the voice. He has the ruggedness. He has the suaveness. You know, I don't see why he couldn't do it. I really don't. But for me, yeah, it's him, Henry Cavill, yeah, obviously, and then Richard Madden, as we mentioned. Cillian Murphy would be an interesting outside shout because I think in Peaky Blinders, he's shown he does have the ability to. I think he does hold that certain suaveness. The hair kind of takes away from it, but I think if he had his hair in a certain way, or whatever, makeup, blah, 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 I think he'd make a very, very good Bond.
Listen, he's a fantastic actor. I just think it's just missing that something. No disrespect to him, but I wouldn't. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be pissed if I heard he was cast, to be honest. But yeah, no, I think Madden is actually a good shout. Yeah. I would go for Fassbender, Madden, and Cavill. That would be my three.
There's some interesting shouts in there as well. I mean, on this Esquire thing they've put forward, I think Fassbender's on the list as well. Daniel Kaluuya's on there. John Boyega.
No, the thing is, and I always have to say this for everyone listening on pod. I am a black man about to say this. I don't think one should be black.
It's fair.
I just don't. It's one of those things, and I always say it, and I know like some people totally disagree with it. You can build a universe. You can create a spy. I'm not saying we need a Bond universe, but for instance, it could be a 008 or anything, or just build your own franchise. But something that's been built that way. It's like tomorrow. I don't want to see Santa be black. Like it's established in certain things. Now, don't get me wrong. I was all for Samuel L. Jackson being Nick Fury, so it's weird how I blurred the lines. But yeah, I just don't. I think with the legacy of Bond, for me to follow these films, and the thing is, it's a matter of following a trend. Now, if I've watched 25 films deep in of a white man, I mean, look at the outcry that happened from a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy coming in. Yeah. How do you then how am I meant to follow this story that whatever happens in our next film, he's then replaced by Idris Elba? Like, how am I meant to?
Idris Elba, Nico convinced me of this, so I was very much on the train. I thought, Idris Elba will be the next Bond. I'm the same as you. I think that again, as somebody who's been in that world, it almost feels like if they did that, as horrible as it sounds, it would be this is great marketing and a great box ticking exercise that we've got a black Bond. How cool is that? Rather than going, we've actually cast the character and the man who fits the role.
Thank you.
But I think that, I mean, Idris Elba's never on TV or on a film. He's never been the main man ever. And he has been. He's been good. Turn Up Charlie was good, but it wasn't quite. He wasn't a great main character.
We're talking about Idris.
we were talking about a black Bond, and we were talking about your convincing.
Forget it.
The TV star.
Yeah, he's not Bond. Never, no how, no way.
I put my three down. I put Tom Hardy as my first choice.
Villain.
Really?
Tom Hardy is a Bond villain all day long. Tom Hardy is Jaws. Imagine that.
Yeah, I can see that. No, but then at the same time, it's basically just going, oh, you've worn a mask that covered your face, which is basically like wearing teeth. Do you want to be this guy? And he'll turn around and go, absolutely not.
Here's the paycheck. Oh, maybe
Hardy's way too big a star to be Bond now. He's way too big.
I put Henry Cavill and I put Richard Madden as my third choice.
Richard Madden I have talked about. I like that choice. Richard Madden's a solid choice. I can see that.
Yeah, I think he would be absolutely awesome.
I mean, we were going through the Esquire sort of list. Riz Ahmed's on there as well.
No.
But Daniel Kaluuya, Fassbender, Cavill, Aidan Turner, who I don't even know who he is. John Boyega.
No, sorry, I don't mean to fucking drop the race card.
I've done it. Don't worry. We're good.
It's done. Bond is a white guy. There are literally scenes in Ian Fleming's fucking novels about the hair, the wind blowing through his hair. It's like
he's not allowed to have locks.
Huh?
He's not allowed to have locks.
Big man.
I'm taking the piss.
Like, Bond's not a black guy. I'm sorry. He's just.
No, but as I was saying, Nick, right? More than anything, as I said, I'm very funny because I've accepted Nick Fury as Nick Cage. Nick Fury as Nick Cage. Nick Fury as Samuel L. Jackson.
Jackson is Nick Fury.
Yeah. Now, when you flip it the other way, that's how the story has been built, and we continue. 25 films in, how can film 26 of me following the story just have a black guy turn up and be, yeah, I'm Bond?
Exactly.
How?
Exactly.
Like, that would literally be, it would have to be tied in with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse for me to then be like, oh, wow, okay, now he's black. Like, we would have to reset a timeline somewhere.
And then what happens when the black guy's had his run of 4 or 5 films and then we go back to being a white guy? It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why, instead of trying to play this fake race appreciation card and say, oh, let's give the black guys in Hollywood a really big role. Why don't we create an awesome role which stars the black guys instead of fucking doing this bullshit tokenism that Hollywood do?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. But yeah.
Right.
We spent half an hour on Bond, and it's not even directly involved.
It happens.
Number 8, I've gone Cinema Paradiso.
I'm so happy you brought this film in.
Can't say I've heard it.
Wow. Oh, I love this film. But like you, Louis, this is one that has been... I haven't seen it in so many years. I've only seen it the once, and my memory wasn't fresh enough to talk about it.
So I'm the same. For me, it was like I had La Dolce Vita and Cinema Paradiso, which I hadn't for a long time. But for me, I love everything about it. Everything. I love the way it kind of almost breaks the fourth wall, where it goes, I grew up watching films, and this is how I fell in love with this. I fell in love with that, and it breaks. Like for me, because I was a kid watching it, and you've got this little kid who's gone to cinema, he's watching films, all this sort of stuff, and I'm literally there, exactly the same. Sort of like it was like every Saturday, me and my dad would go to the cinema and watch a film in the morning every Saturday together. And it's sort of like that whole sort of character arc and everything is brilliant. Yeah, that's it. For me, it's just like I just think it's a beautiful film. I just love it a bit.
It is.
I'll let you give it a shot. There's a magic that you've sold to me in that.
Huh?
There's a magic you sold to me in that I really think I would really enjoy.
You will love Cinema Paradiso, mate. And it's on Amazon Prime now, so it's an easy watch. Yeah,
cool.
Easy watch.
It's a brilliant film. But yeah, that's that. And my number 7 is Novecento.
Novecento. Hell of a cast.
Great cast. You got Gerard Depardieu, Robert De Niro. Fun fact about this: so Robert De Niro actually speaks, where other people are dubbed, he actually speaks Italian. So he'd be in that. He's obviously he speaks the lingo, does whatever. This film is actually quite for me. It actually is. It's scary how close to the truth it is. So obviously it's set sort of. It's about these two lads, friends that are completely opposite ends of the social spectrum. One is a rich kid who owns a grandfather owns a farm, and the other one's a poor lad who's raised a socialist, and he's a peasant basically, and basically it follows their lives and their friendships. Like rich kid, he almost shuns his family. He wants to be friends with this young lad. The friends grow up together. One of them becomes part of the fascist party. One of them becomes part of the socialist party, and it kind of just the whole thing is just about where they were born in 1900, the historical context, everything leading all the way up to 1945 and the liberation of Italy by the Americans and obviously the people that are working there. And it is also filmed and shot literally where my family is from, in Emilia-Romagna.
Oh, nice.
So there's little things where I'd see, obviously they dress the set and stuff, but there's little things like, oh, I know where they are. Like literally pointing out little things like, oh, I know that. Oh, I know this. Oh, that's cool. I've been there. Stuff like that. And it's like, it's so close to the truth. And the story, I love. I have to really be in a mood to watch drama, and I think the way that they set this story up They build it together. It's still it makes a lot of sense today as well. The way that the story moves forward and is developed, and how all the characters are sort of amalgamating together, and how it shows the different sides of society. You could remake this film now and it would win an Oscar. I'm telling you now, it would. If you redid that now, it's an absolutely mesmerizing film. It's long, it's really long, but I had to do it in 3 sittings. So I have the attention span of a goldfish. But it's an absolutely amazing film. I loved it to bits.
2 for 2 then. You got me again. Yeah, I'm down with that one as well.
Yeah, that's my 10 through. That's my 10 through 7.
So that's all of our bottom 4s. Okay, over to our 6 through 4 now. So my number 6, it's a favorite here at the Movie Mount Rushmore podcast. I'm hoping, AJ, you brought it on as well. If not, don't worry, I got you. Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes in Romeo and Juliet, the 1996 version.
Do you know what? I don't know why it keeps slipping through my net as a film. I swear down.
It's not. Is it based in Italy though? Is it?
In fair Verona, where we set our tale.
No, okay, but they say it's a fair Verona, but it's very clearly LA. Very clearly. I'm sorry, have you been to Verona? No.
I mean, I can't help but agree.
That's fair, actually. I hadn't thought of that. Listen, as the script goes for that story,
but also when they put out those swords, it happens to be a shooter. So let's work.
The story of Romeo and Juliet is set in Italy. We can agree on that much, yes?
Yeah, the story of Romeo and Juliet is set in Italy, but this one isn't. It's an adaptation. That's the beauty of Shakespeare. As much as I hated studying Shakespeare at school. I hated it.
I love it.
But then it's like I was there when you could actually when I got to 18 and I was doing drama as my A level, and you kind of there you could adapt Shakespeare and do it and put it in any period. I like that. I think that's really cool. That's what this is. It's just a modernized Shakespearean, play which has been set and moved to LA. And they're all wearing fucking floral shirts. What is that? No. In Italy.
Floral shirt sounds pretty Italian to me.
He's trying to get a nibble, and I'm not going to give him the satisfaction.
He knows how to push those buttons.
I know he does. I think yeah. For me, it's like it's not based in Italy. I mean, have we got anything different to punt which we can say just to absolutely call someone out?
I'll give you Spider-Man Far From Home because I actually was toying with that one.
Or you could just pick another adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. I'm sure there's one we're watching.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, and that's the one I really warm to because I love the modernization of it. And I think DiCaprio and Claire Danes were fucking phenomenal as well.
They were.
And I thought Harold Perrineau as Mercutio was a thing of beauty. Likewise, John Leguizamo as Tybalt. What's his name? Who played Benvolio? Why am I blanking? It's not Michael Rappaport.
Should I get the cast up?
I'm drawing a complete blank on who played Benvolio. That's really going to do my head in.
It's on Disney Plus as well. I might have to watch that.
Yeah. Nice.
You've got Brian Denny was Ted Montague. Christina Pickles was Caroline.
Why don't we just search who played Benvolio?
Dash me up. Dash me up.
Thank you.
Me up. There we go.
Yeah, top to bottom. Top to bottom. Even Pete Postlethwaite, I believe, was in this, playing the apothecary.
Yeah, Father Lawrence.
Yeah, there you go. Top to bottom, this film was absolutely stellar. I thought their chemistry was off the chain. I thought the modern adaptation was brilliant. I find it very hard to fault this film. But you're kind of right. Huh?
Paul Rudd was in it.
Yeah. Paul Rudd played Juliet's initial love interest.
Yeah. Dave Paris.
That's it.
Very modernised. So was it? Oh yeah, Dave. Yeah. He's a good bloke, is Dave. You know what I mean?
So, okay, we'll move on swiftly from my number 6 then, given that it's just been poo-pooed. And we'll bring in the punt from earlier, AJ's number 7, I believe it was.
Yeah, my number 7.
The talented Mr. Ripley. Oh, this film's good. God damn, this film.
Good question.
Huh?
Was this in your? I couldn't remember because I rewatched it again. Was he in your villains who win?
No, but he fucking should have been.
It's tempting, isn't it? It's tempting.
Although there's a huge argument to be made that at the end he very much does not win.
Well, yeah, it's an argument. What do you call a victory, isn't it? But
I mean, he's literally sacrificed his soul in that final scene, hasn't he? So
yeah.
You seen it, Louis?
Nope.
It's good. So it's about this sociopath who's drawn to the socialite lifestyle, and he's moonlighting as this pianist from it's Princeton, isn't it, AJ?
I can't remember, but yeah, it's one of those.
He's just wearing a Princeton jacket, and he's at this really rich, sort of Upper East Side New York party, and the dad of this kid sort of says, "Oh, you must know my son. You should go get him back for me." And he gives him $1,000, which at the time was a lot of money, to go and try and get his son out of Italy. And then he manages to worm his way into the son's life. So Matt Damon plays Ripley, and Jude Law plays the son. And you've also got starring roles from Gwyneth Paltrow and Cate Blanchett playing the love interest in this. So it's a very good all-round cast. But yeah, he manages to worm his way into the socialite life and commits bloody murder in the process.
Can I ask a question?
Go on.
That I was actually tempted to ask you upon watching this. He's introduced as Tom Ripley, but is he actually Tom Ripley?
Yes.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah,
now this is a bit of a mindfuck. Like, is he actually, or is he not? You know what I mean?
No, he is Tom Ripley. He's absolutely.
No, yeah. That part is just something I wasn't too sure when I was watching the film. I just wanted to double check, but it's not that mind fucking after that. Like literally.
No.
It's very easy to follow. It's very easy to follow. It's a good film, really good film. Actually.
Superb. Talk about what happens when a sociopath gets their claws in on the luxury lifestyle. Scary shit. That was my number 5. My number 4, maybe we're saying punt, I don't know, but my number 4, going back to 1969, Michael Caine's The Italian Job. If it's above 4, it's a punt.
Yes, it's a small punt. It's a punt. It is a punt.
It's a punt.
Yeah, it is a punt.
It's my number 4 as well, so I'm not going to punt that.
Right. Okay. So we've done number 7. Right. In at number 6, this may be a punt. It was a punt earlier, but it may be a punt again, Louis. The Godfather.
Fucking punt! Jesus Christ!
Listen, he made it to the second round with me. Next to one who showed the disrespect. Right. There's a part of me with that wink, Nick, that told me you've actually done that. Honestly, guys, podcast says 120 something, right? Check it. There's a part that said, I made it low just to piss Louis off.
No. I've got a very good reason for putting The Godfather as my number 9.
Right, no problem. Fair play. Louis, you're going to sell it. I trust you to sell it, but we will move on because we can't talk about it now. In at number 5 for me, I'm going to call it the classic because the last time I called it the original, YouTube wanted to kill me. I'm talking Kirk Douglas as Spartacus. Sorry, I was about to put the screen back.
Of course it's in fucking Italy. Sorry, I was like, it's in the fucking Roman Colosseum.
Bro, I had that same thing when I was like, is it Greek? And I'm like, no. It's like you then have to just go through all the history, like remembering where it took place.
There's so much of it that's set in North Africa, in the African Colosseum. Then I'm like, is it? And then yes, of course it is.
Yeah.
I didn't put this one in because I wasn't sure. I thought because Ben-Hur, I wasn't sure if that was Greece or Italy as well. I was really, really torn. But it's also
Ben-Hur is Carthage, isn't it?
That's what I thought. I was like, is it? Because I thought it was Roman, but it's North Africa. I think it's mostly based in.
I believe it is.
Yeah, but the Spartacus is a great shout. It's a great film.
Yeah, thank you. Had to. I'll be honest, didn't have a chance to rewatch it. It was a matter of reading. I'm like, no, they definitely did. It had Italian moments in it. Yeah, Italy. in it, should I say? Because obviously he is Italian. But no, fantastic film. Just talking about the corruption and enslavement and so much. It's one of those films that has length, but you enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? You know, you can have a film that has length to it, and you're like, oh, flip me. And then there are others that just take you on a journey. And Kirk Douglas is flipping stellar in this film. Like, I'm not taking it from anyone else, but he leads the charge in such a way that I was, really, really taken in. And to me, I know there's a newer version out there. Can't bring myself to watch it, and I know there's a TV series out there that I know if it's good or bad. Like this one, you know, there are some films you're just scared to touch because you know how good the one you've seen first is. This is one of them. Like I'm really taken in by this, and I was like, I don't want to tempt fate. I don't want to tempt fate. There are some stuff I feel could be damaged, and this is one of them.
Oh yeah, Spartacus you have to be very, very careful with. If you were to recast Spartacus right now, who would you do? Who would you cast it?
Bradley Cooper.
I can't really argue with that. I
think he'd be an amazing Spartacus. Bradley Cooper gives me that kind of classic Hollywood vibe that Kirk Douglas gives me. Despite the fact that he's obviously a clearly modern actor, I believe he's got that gear in him.
He's got that grit in him as well. Because obviously they wouldn't make it all like you'll make it like it used to, where it was all trumpets and glamour and superhero sort of vibe. It'll be a grittier version now. It would be a very gritty.
You know what?
Hope Tom
Hardy would be a good one.
I did say it. I did.
Tom Hardy is Spartacus. I'm Spartacus.
No, he does American accent.
No, you hear him doing with
that. What about Mark Wahlberg?
Sit on that and fucking spin. Jesus. No. Wait. Christopher Walken is Spartacus. Hey, Spartacus. Hey, I'm Spartacus.
What about Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah,
that
would work actually.
Yeah,
should we just write the script ourselves and then send it off? See if
not much to write, but we could do the
casting. We're already working on a British adaptation of Aladdin,
Yeah, Aladdin. We're going to set him in East London.
Aladdin, set in the Kenneth pandemic of 2020. Aladdin. Actually, Bo Burnham, innit? At that point.
There's all the innuendos and all of that as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah, all right. Dick Van Dyke gets recast as the granddad.
Jasmine.
Potential crossover with Gavin and Stacey. Granddad is Dick Van Dyke.
No, because we don't do James Corden on this show.
Yeah, James Corden.
Oh, you're there on the Poundland, James Corden.
What's that?
On the Poundland, James Corden. Apparently, that is my name within the sector.
Do not take that disrespect, mate. Do not take that. You are worth a lot more than him. Literally, first meeting of you, you've already topped him. Trust me.
Stop it.
I know.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
AJ, that was your number what?
5.
Your 4, please.
My number 4. The one you thought was going to be my number 1, Nick. Roman Holiday.
Snap. Roman Holiday.
Yeah. I mean, there was a magic about this. Gregory Peck, and I do have this soft spot for Audrey Hepburn. I think she's just captivating. You can't help but get magnetized to her. And all of these little teeny romantic comedies that you ever watched was set by this, the young princess who chooses to rebel and wants to know what life is about and just travels Italy essentially and gets caught up with these scallywag gentlemen who are trying to get their big story. I just found it magic. Like you know where it's going. Like there are so many films that have been rips this film that you know where it's going, but there's a magic to it. There is just this magic to what you get from this film, and it is Audrey Hepburn. Like nothing against Gregory Peck, but she has magnetism. She has this magnetism.
I mean, they both do, man.
They do, but she's she's eye grabbing. Like your attention just. He's fantastic. Gregory Peck is a fantastic actor. I'm not knocking him. I would never knock him. I'd be an idiot to knock him as an actor, right? That would just be stupid. But the magnetism, I just the way that anytime she's on screen, she just captures me. That's what I would always say. But it's just a tour of Italy of this princess trying to live undercover and just live life. It is just a moment of live life from a privileged life and just seeing what the world really has to offer.
It's a superb film.
Yeah.
I love Roman Holiday. Only reason I didn't put it on is because I knew you'd be bringing it up. Thought it would be higher, but
there are certain things you just have to work with and just know what's what, you know. And I was tempted. I was tempted to go higher, but then there were other films and I'm like, no. There's higher. It's just natural. It's just real.
All right. Louis, it's back over to you then, mate. You're number 6.
So my number 6 is La Vita Bella.
Your number 6 is La Vita è Bella.
That's a punt.
That's a punt for me as well.
It would be. Yeah, I'd put it that long because the ones above it, I've got more of an emotional attachment to. This is when it gets really rich. Gladiator is my number 5.
Oh, I don't think so. That is a punt.
That is a punt as well.
And The Italian Job is my number 4.
Which was a punt from earlier.
And The Italian Job is my number 3. Go for it.
No, we can talk about The Italian Job now. Here we go.
What do you want to say?
Go for it. It's yours. It's your number 4.
It's higher up for you. I want to hear what you think about it. Why is it higher?
Mate, do you know what? It's just like, do you know what? To me, it's classic. It's one of those classics. Like, even when I first heard the words set in Italy, I was like, instant number 1. Then you start to go in and you watch others and it's like that. But it's one of those films, again, you talk about the magic of watching a film with your dad. This is one that I remember him showing me. And it was just absolute madness. You know, Michael Caine is one of our treasures. He's a UK treasure by all means, you know. And this mad story, and then the minis. You can't ever think of The Italian Job without the minis. And then the ending. Where do you start and where do you stop when it comes to The Italian Job? One of those classic films that it's one of those things as well that, okay, Nick, you went down that route of wanting to do a Renaissance or what have you. There were certain films I felt like, again, I had Spartacus, so it sounds stupid, but you're being introduced to an older film and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. And then it's just this mad journey that you can't help but just fall in love. You want to know what happens next. You just love the moments. It's got the comedy. It's got it has the tense moments. And if not the greatest, one of the greatest endings of suspense ever.
No, it's the best cliffhanger ever. That's beyond the shadow of that. It's literally where the term comes from.
Yeah, but there you go. And that's what it is. There were so many fond memories of it. And I think it was that spin of expectation where I didn't think I'd enjoy it at the time that I was introduced to it, to loving it and just appreciating it. I can't take away from it. Pure madness.
I remember the reason it's my number 4 is because my 1, 2, and 3 are just I think you already know what my 1, 2, and 3 are. But I think that like it's exactly that thing with my dad. Like, it's sort of, I remember. So we at the top of our road we have the BP garage, and it had just been turned into a Marks and Spencer's. You know how they've done that collaboration out across all of them. Just been turned into the M&S. And we were like, you know what? We're not going to get a takeaway tonight. Let's go and get something from the Marks and Spencer's and cook it. Me and my brother, we really love like the Southern fried chicken fillets you get there.
Yeah.
So then my dad then obviously he was there like, right, no, boys, you're not going to have that. I'm going to introduce you to a chicken Kiev. The first time I'd have a chicken Kiev ever. A chicken Kiev, chips, beans, and then we were there sort of in the petrol station, and Dad saw it on the stand. Like, oh, the Italian Job. You boys seen the Italian Job yet? And it was every Friday we'd get somebody, because we had Virgin, so we'd always go on Virgin and pick a film. And me and brother, no, we've never seen the Italian Job. I was like, right, I'm going to change your life twice in one night. So we were chicken Kievs, chips, beans, and the Italian Job. And it's the opening scene. That for me, just like I was stuck. Just the way that it's almost like it's basically what Gran Turismo modelled its whole cinematic version on, or GTA. You know, when you drive in the car, you just play Matt Monroe instead of listening to GTA radio, and just drive through and make sure your mate's there in the tunnel with a bulldozer, and you get blown up. It's absolutely, this is unbelievable film. unbelievable. I loved it.
Oh, mate, that is absolute magic. And what I love about it is you can't only just like, you can actually smell the Italian job. You can taste the Italian job because of the chicken Kiev. Like, you've got every memory captured in that. That's beautiful. That is beauty.
Different. And then there's me actually thinking of getting a Mini, but then I realised maybe me driving a Mini probably wouldn't be the best look. I would look like Mr. Incredible when he first had when he had the car at the beginning of the first Mr. Incredibles movie, just in it, hunched over like that. But what a film! What a film! Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that was your 4, my 4, AJ's 3.
Yeah.
Right. So over to my 3 then. It's the one that you took off, Louis. La Dolce Vita. I don't know how it's possible to talk about Italian cinema, or I'm going grander, even cinema in general, without even talking about La Dolce Vita. This film is so influential and just birthed modern cinema. It's an odyssey. It's incredible. Shit, even the term paparazzi comes from this movie.
Yeah. The only reason I took it off was purely because I've not seen it since I was a kid. I've not seen it for years. So I couldn't talk about it.
It's a week-long story. Each day in this reporter's life is different from the last. And, you know, this screenshot I just brought up here, this is him, very similarly to Roman Holiday, trying to woo the Swedish princess who's visited Rome, and he's become her tour guide. So there are huge references on things like Roman Holiday. But that's the love story that everyone focuses on, because it's one of those things that's it's so precious and it's so perfect in its timing that, you know, one beat wrong in its execution and the scene falls apart. It was nailed, that scene where they're in front of the Trevento fountains and it's gone dark. Oh, shit, we missed our moment. It's daylight. And anyway, that's one moment in the movie that seems to stand out. But it's an odyssey of what happens in a man's life. Everything from meeting his princess to having to deal with his father who's sick to having to come to terms with who he is as a person. It's just poor. You cannot. Even the way it's shot, it's so grandiose for the late 20s. It's crazy. Like, this film is, if we did a list of 10 most influential films of all time, this is punching.
I have to, small confession, still didn't get around to seeing it.
On Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I know. Just didn't get around to it. But yeah, I realise it's there. So it's actually on my list. I'm actually finishing another film that I wanted to see if it will make the list, and that was the next one I was going to see. So.
Louis, over to you. You're number 3.
It literally goes part 3, part 2, part 1. End of. This film has had such an impact on me.
Do you want to wait? Do you want to talk about them all as one? Is that what you want?
As well, yeah. For me, it's kind of.
We'll have you down as a kind of punt, then we'll kind of like leave it as that.
We'll wait till we get to your number 1 so you can unravel them.
But yeah. For me, it's like so. Part 3. The reason is that I put them as a trilogy. But like part 2 is
Louis. Yeah, Nick's gonna go through. We'll leave you
when we get to your 1. Talk about.
You can talk about the trilogy in one go.
Sorry. I thought Nick had done it. I'm lost. Go on, carry on. Sorry.
So AJ, it's my number 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, my number 2. Where is my number 2? My number 2 is La Vita è Bella.
Punt. Okay.
Louis, number 2. No, AJ, your number 2.
Yeah, my number 2. Gladiator.
Punt.
I had a feeling. Okay. So then where are we at?
Louis
number 2.
Louis number 2. We're talking about all as one. It'll make sense in a moment if you haven't figured it out yet. So I'm going to go with my worst. Was the punt from earlier? The Tourist.
I get it. I'm not going to say that it categorically fell in there, because I did see other films set in Italy, one of them being Walking on Sunshine, which is essentially Mamma Mia, but set in Italy. It's just, it wasn't going to make the list. This
film is a tremendous piece of shit.
Do you know what it is about The Tourist? It had me on a point of, where are you going with this? Like, are you trying to be romantic? Are you trying to be action? It had me wondering, and I was like, part of it is by selection, like by process of elimination. It kind of had me, but didn't. You know, it just didn't. It missed the mark. It definitely missed the mark. And the grand reveal at the end was like, oh, really? Okay, there we are. Yeah.
Lack of chemistry. Didn't really highlight Italy at all, even though it was fucking set there.
Yeah.
Focused on things like smoking disorders, and it's like, why do I care? It didn't give me any reason to care. I was like, it's a cookie cutter, Euro hopping, Hollywoodized interpretation of European culture. And I was like, die. Not for me.
No, I could work with that.
It sounds like a very typical US going, oh my God, have you ever been to Europe? Oh, yes, it's fucking huge though. So where have you been? Right. Oh my God, like France is exactly the same as Russia, okay? It's the same. I had this debate with a girl at a bar, literally about 2 months ago. There were these 4 American girls. Me and my mate said, right, let's have a go. Right? Sat down though, within 5 minutes, I walked off. I couldn't do it. It was very much like, oh my God, you're from Europe? Oh, I love London so much. Like, it's like, you've been to Liverpool. I'm like, where's that? It's like, oh my God, like, it's London. It's not just London, okay? There is so much more than Big fucking Ben. And even he's not working at the minute. Nico knows how annoyed I get at that sort of stuff. It drives me up the wall. I can't stand it. It's bad.
The one that wound me up really big time recently was the whole Euro 2020. But I thought England left the Euro. I'm like, yes, the economic system and government, like we don't geographically move because
it's like the UK just went, right, fuck off, we're sleeping. God, slam it. Oh, right.
It's amazing what comes out in this world. Amazing. But yeah, I get you, Louis. I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Are we any better when it comes to American geography?
No, I embrace what I know and acknowledge what I know. For instance, I'm very aware that Florida is completely different to California, right? I'm aware that New York has a difference to that. I'm aware that Chicago has its own feel. So am I going to tell you that I know exactly what you can find on Fifth Avenue without ever being to New York? Do I know what's in Tribeca? Fuck no. But I'm aware of what's going on in those areas. Do you get where I'm working with? I know the different parts of, not to tell you directly, but I'm aware of certain parts of New York. I'm aware that, don't go and call Canada America because they're going to flip and hate you for it. Like there are certain things you know to work with, I
mean, I'm a bit better than I was because one of my exes was from the Midwest. So I could kind of like, I got her to give me the geographical education of the social and economic differences between certain parts. But I did the same for Italy and England. But my favourite way to describe the Italian socio-economic structure to anybody in here is you see what you've got in the UK, where you've got the north is a lot poorer because of certain things, and the south is rich. Yeah, flip it on its head.
I was going to say, yeah.
Makes sense. But it's but yeah, I think the Americans are I think it's fair to say that a lot of people you got New York, you got California, and then nothing in the middle. Whereas actually there is actually quite a lot going on, which is quite cool. There's some great cities in the middle, like Atlanta and other places like that are just brilliant. And in terms of music, Detroit, no one talks about Detroit anymore.
Yeah, this is true.
Motown, baby. Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, there we go. Question answered there, Nico. We're somewhat there. I'm not saying we know everything. Trust me, we don't. But we do.
What's your worst, AJ?
So we praised the Italian job. Then we also have to acknowledge the Italian job.
Yes, AJ!
I am talking Mark Wahlberg, Charlize Theron, Ed Norton, Jason Statham, Donald Sutherland. On paper, this film should not have gone wrong.
Nope.
This film should not have gone wrong. I've never, how do we open the film in Italy, then take it away, but still call it the Italian job? Because we're going to be we're going to do like we did in the Italian job. Not only have you disrespected, the film itself was poor, but you've also disrespected it by title because it's not the Italian job, apart from your small reference. And then it's a disrespect to the original film, which was absolutely awesome. And then I don't want to say you Hollywoodized it, but you did, in the fact that there's a happy ending. It's again, we talk about the most iconic ending in the history of cinema, you remake the film and you take that away. That's like saying, you know what, let's do the sword and the stone, but let's not take the fucking sword out of the stone. Like, what the fuck? You can't do that. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, we've lost
Louis clearly appreciates my sentiment on that one, but it's just no. It was a letdown. Sorry, everyone on pod. Louis' reaction is actually killing me.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah, it really. And I have tears in my eyes, but no, it was just damaging. It was just absolutely damaging to a classic. Like I don't mind spins on certain films, but that one, there are certain tropes you have to acknowledge, and that one was ruined. They just took it away from what it was, and that's why it ended up as worst.
Right, let's speed this up because we've got 15 minutes left, and we've still got 3 number ones to deliver and a Rushmore to do, and a few ones. And I know Luke is going to take some time on his number one too. So, my number one, I mean, we punted on it just now, is Gladiator. It's one of the greatest films ever made. It's Russell Crowe at his absolute bloody best. It's basically a remake of Spartacus, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
In the pure sense of the word. But the performances in this movie are so pitch perfect. Even if we look beyond Russell Crowe to like fucking Phoenix, he is so fucking good as Commodus. Everything in this movie works. The fall of an empire which started in a Colosseum. It's so good. And the tigers were real. That's something I want to say. Those were real tigers they had in the Colosseum. So the stuntmen, cuckoo, fuck that.
I hate you. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely awesome film. To be honest, it was nearly my number one. My number one, bro. Do you know what it is? Yeah, my number one, La Vita Bella, Life is Beautiful. The only reason, and I'll tell you what, it hit me because it was down as my number one, and I changed it last minute. And the reason behind it was, it's the first hour actually made me think I wouldn't enjoy it as much. As it comes to that point where you see a sacrifice a dad will do for his kid, just at that point of where it's the Nazis are there and it's like, who speaks German? And to not break that magic, he is just saying whatever. And everyone, like, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's not seen it. I was late to the party. But that magic of a father who wants, you're in a concentration camp and you're trying to make it as painless as possible for your son to go through this experience. So he's going through all the hardships that you have to, and still making this moment magical for your kid. It fully
even up to his final moment where he's dancing away, even though he's about to be.
It melted me, man. It melted me.
It's amazing.
I broke down in tears. It's a really, really special film.
Yeah.
Really special film. And the fact that I've tried to say to my friends, so like, guys, you need to watch this film. I can't be bothered with the subtitles. I'm like, if you just
I hate it when people say that shit. I won't watch a foreign film because subtitles. It's like, man,
it's an unbelievable film.
Yeah,
and it's like, but for me, like the reason it's not in my top 3 is like purely because I don't know. I put like on Gladiator and stuff. It's like Gladiator for me is like I love the film, but like I remember me and my dad are having like a really, really difficult period, and like he said, we just like, we need to watch this film. Like he was like, I've seen it, so I need you to watch it with me. And we just sat and watched it, and it was just like it's like me and my dad are really, really close because my mum passed away from breast cancer when I was a kid, and we're really close. And this just kind of like this cemented it. Like for me, like there's 3 or 4 moments from my teenage years into now where I kind of go cemented my relationship with my dad. This film would. Like just sitting down and talking, not even watching it as well. Like we watched it, but before we even watched it, just talking about it. That it's such a special film. Such a special film.
It really is. It really, really is.
I need to watch it again.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Right, Louis, take it away with your number 1, 2, and 3.
Godfather Part 3, Godfather Part 2, Godfather Part 1. Oh,
Here it is.
unbelievable films. Unbelievable films. And for me, it's not even just the films themselves. So I've got, I was saying to Nico, I don't know if you're here at this point, AJ, I'll talk about it. I have out there the annotated script from the first. Wow. And it just goes through everything on set and offset, and how Coppola basically tried to make it as Italian as possible. So there's little things like, for example, like in Italy, when you have your lunch break, you go and sit with people, you go and have lunch. It's like France, you go and have lunch. It's like, we'll go into a restaurant, we're going to go and sit, and we're going to have an hour or two and actually have a lunch.
Yeah.
On the set of The Godfather, anybody who tried to walk away, we yanked back everybody, cast, director, producers, anybody involved with the film that was on set that day, sat down and ate together. And it wasn't like segregated. It wasn't like director here, actors here. It's right, discuss it now. And everyone wants to get involved. And it's the authenticity as well. And for me in the first film, sometimes I'm going through my number one. The third one's my number 3 because it's like I want to do it as a collective. That's why I did it. The third one, I mean, is kind of like the end scene where they recreated the painting. When obviously I don't want to ruin it for some people, but that shot in itself, the character arc of Michael, obviously within that film, very first film, Marlon Brando, obviously, I don't want you to be part of the family business. I want you to be a senator. I want you to be someone in power, someone real. And you see just the whole arc of this young man come to fruition. Very much like his father as well, which I think is awesome. But yeah, the second one, I mean, I just prefer the first one to the second one personally.
Yes, all day long. All day long.
I like the fact that the second one's basically a prequel, but I'm not gonna lie, I found it quite boring. I was there like I like in comparison to the first one where you saw everything. I think the second one was good, and I like the fact that everything was authentic. It was all Italians in it. People speaking the language, and it wasn't dubbed. It was all completely real, and sort of showing different things. I thought that was really cool from a societal aspect, which is why it's my number 2 as well. But for me, the number was just Marlon Brando. Just the dentures he was wearing, just everything, all he did for his character, get involved. The James Caan obviously went for the role of Michael as well, but he was so powerful as Sonny. I just think the entire series is so true to type. It's so true to the story. Now, what Mario Puzo wrote as well, everything is just so connected. And where it was shot as well, when they were in Italy in the first film, when it wasn't actually filmed in Corleone. Actually, it was filmed somewhere else, about 3 hours south.
Andolini.
Yeah, but the whole everything that film for me set up my journey into discovering what films I liked outside of shitty late night comedies. It set it all up for me. On it, like for me, it's like the films. Obviously, I mentioned The Italian Job, The Godfather, The Italian Job, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and Layer Cake are the 4 films which kind of, with my dad, that kind of set me on the street into what I really love. I love watching like gangster films. That's really me. I love them. But for me, this is The Godfather. I'll lend you the script, Nico, and I know Jay, you can grab it off Nico if you want to have a read. It really got the detail it goes into what Francis Ford Coppola did, how he created things, what happened there. Like it's how I found out that Francis Ford Coppola and Nick Cage are related. Nick Cage changed his name so he wouldn't be in the shadow.
Yeah.
So it's like, all this amazing stuff about how it was all done. It's not even the film itself which makes me love it more. It's what happened behind the scenes, and
there was magic in that.
It was great. I still consider it's the best film of all time for me, but not when you go to a pub or you go to a bar and you got all these people like, yeah, it's best of all time because of the X, Y, Z reasons. It's the best film of all time because if you read into it, all the work, everything that happened, unrivaled, fantastic bit of artwork as well.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, just to defend myself, the only reason I put Godfather Part 1 as my number 9 is because not enough of it is set in Italy. That's it. Other than that, it would have been higher.
That's right.
Yeah, I kind of toyed with that again, when why I didn't put Spider Man in there. But that Sicily scene is so important. It's so magical. And shout out to my ex-manager. The church where Michael got married in is where she got married for her wedding. So because she's from Sicily, and all of that was just like the magic, exactly what you said about how true to life it is. For an Italian, she echoes that. So I fully appreciate that.
It's not like it's how it's had an impact on my life as well. Like, for example, one of the big things I want to implement over the next few years at our club, mainly with me and Nico, I've been praying about the other day actually, Nico. Post games, or even before games, I want there to be a sense of unity to the point of after every game, everyone stays and eats together. We'll have like big bowls of food where everyone just sits, eats together.
What we did at my rugby club. It was great.
It's not even just a sense of like just having a pint after the game, lad. It's like, no, like let's sit and talk. Like, even if we had a bad game, let's just sit and not wallow, but sort of just take it in, enjoy the moment, enjoy each other's company, which is what it's all about. And then from there, just sort of like develop stuff. It's like it's how I've been raised. Everything I see in it is how I've been raised.
Hey, get the fuck out of here! Is it that?
Shout out Mario! Shout out the real Don Mario. That's the man who did all of this. But yeah, it's for me.
I love that.
Well, we're not going to add much to that, but we do have a Rushmore to make now.
So I mean, we're
not putting 3 Godfather movies on there.
No, never.
I'll take Godfather 1. It has to be in there. Godfather has to be in there.
Okay, so do you really think the movie Twitterverse are going to respond positively to Godfather 1, given that only like 20-25 minutes of the movie is in Italy?
Listen. I haven't seen the other 2, but again, it's all one story. Kind of like someone's argument about what we done last week.
It's not though, because although Godfather 2 is is my least favorite of these 3 movies. Yes, I mean that I prefer 3 to 2. A big chunk of 2 is in Italy. Like, I'd listen to that noise all day long. 1, while I think it's the best of the 3, is enough of it in Italy. That's the argument I'm raising. Because the title is Movies Set in Italy. Now, we've done our personal thing, but we are now putting 4 movies out into the Twitterverse for people to vote on. And I don't hear people saying it's not in Italy.
Michael is technically in Corleone for at least a third of that film. Even if it's not shown, he is in Italy. And at least a good 40 minutes of it is in Italy. Good 40.
Is that enough?
Of a 2.5, 3 hour film, I'd say, yeah.
It's not a bad chunk, I mean, you can't put it this way. Even for me, I was like, well, he's there. Like it focuses on that. It's not like it's like, oh, we see him there. Like it's solid. I mean, you guys have seen the other 2. I've put my hands up. I haven't seen 2 or 3.
Two is, I think, a big chunk of it isn't actually set in Italy. You've got the opening sequence, and a lot of it's based in Brooklyn, but it's all spoken in Italian.
3 makes 2 a good movie, in my opinion, but that's a whole different debate.
2 is a good middle ground, but 3 brings it together.
Mm-hmm.
Still found a bit weird.
Godfather in there, that's fine.
So we'll go for number 1, yeah?
Yeah, Godfather Part 1, yeah.
Okay.
La Vita è Bella, I think.
La Vita è Bella has to go in there.
Gladiator?
I kind of think has to go in there, and I also think La Dolce Vita has to go in there.
What are we missing?
Well, I was thinking the other one. I've not seen it, so it's not my place to say. Italian Job.
I thought about it. It is within our 3 and 4, is it not?
Yeah,
it is. It is within our 3 and 4. Oh, bro, we're gonna be ripped apart for not putting La Dolce Vita on. I'm not gonna lie. When the question came out on Twitter a few days ago, so many fucking people answered La Dolce Vita.
Well, then they all flipping predicted it. It's just the same as all saying other films we've had to remove because you were so predictable.
I mean, can we add a 5th face like Donald Trump wanted to do anyway?
I'll leave it to you guys because I haven't seen it. I can't comment on the film I haven't seen. But Italian Job legit like hit all three of our on the top thing. But you guys know where the telly
should be off this list, man. I think we're being stupid here.
What comes
but
out?
You're also not being stupid to eliminate the Italian Job in it. You can't tell me it didn't come up either.
No, I would sooner take Gladiator off and put the Italian Job on than leave La Dolce Vita off.
I'd say let's do that.
I'm happy with that, to be honest.
Purely because I think the only reason Gladiator isn't higher is because I ranked the Godfathers together. But I think the fact that mathematically if it has to come down to that, you put the Italian Job there. Gladiator honestly, it's one of the best films made. But I think purely from the emotional standpoint, from me and AJ, and obviously we're saying sort of like the emotion attached to it as people. I think it's kind of that's why we go in there for me personally.
I don't actually want to be I'm down with that, but I'm now going to put something out. And Louis, this isn't me attacking the guest, and I would never do that normally. Does The Godfather outrank Gladiator then, considering location and how much time was spent in Italy? Just putting it out there. And I really don't want to hurt you by I'm really not trying to be a dick. I'm just weighing it up now.
That's a fair question. That is a very fair question. That is a fair question. Because remember, we're talking objectively now, Brother Louis. This isn't about our personal tens anymore. This is going out onto Twitter.
Trust me, I've been through those pains. I, as the guest, I will let you make the final decision. But I just had to put it out there as a question.
Objectively. Well played, AJ.
Only reason I'm not saying Gladiator is because I've not seen it for years. But then that's my personal thing. If you're talking objectively,
I just took my number one off to put La Dolce Vita on. I'm being objective as it gets here.
I know. I think the only thing, I guess his location would be the only thing.
And what's the
title of the title, though?
And the title of the podcast is Location.
But as I said, I will leave as the guest. I will leave it to you.
No, don't leave it on me. That's just basically palming it off. I mean, Nico already knows I'm going to want to say no, but I mean, I'm struggling to be objective here, so I'm going to withdraw myself. I recuse myself from the.
Now, Nick, you have a newfound appreciation, and you've done all three Godfathers. So then, again, maybe I am palming off. Which one would you go for?
Me? I've made my argument very clear. I don't think The Godfather should be in there because not enough of the movie's set in Italy.
I really don't want to be.
As I said, I would sooner listen to an argument for Godfather 2 than I would for Godfather 1, and I do not like that film.
Louis' head's down in such a way that I just don't know how to read.
Can you play again?
We need to wrap this. I'm being told by my other half this needs to wrap. So,
rock, paper, scissors,
bro.
Right, AJ.
Pick.
Don't. If I pick, I'm going to literally say Gladiator. So beat it on your head.
No, it's 2-1. Done.
Oh, cool. I do apologize, mate. That's not my normal. Trust me. Normally, I'm all for the
made an enemy for life, AJ.
Are we sticking with it as it is? Yeah.
Well, we've just said 2-1, so I think we've changed it.
Gladiator.
Yeah.
Oh, Gladiator.
Yeah. You
Unless you want to go for part 2. I haven't seen it, so I don't know how much of location.
No, I go with Gladiator. That's cool.
That was Nick, not me. Yeah, I gave you a second shot. All right, cool. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of movies set in Italy, in no particular order, is
La Vita è Bella.
Our second entry is
La Dolce Vita.
Our third entry is
Gladiator.
our final entry into the movie Mount Rushmore of movies set in Italy is
The Italian Job. I left it on a high note there, Louis, trying to see how much I really didn't want to hurt you, mate.
Let's do our quiz now.
Okay, guys. So, right. Why were we talking Twitter? Because at Movie MT Rushmore, that's the Silver Screen Dudes on Twitter, we'll be pairing up with at We Love Movies, Movie Polls for You, good old JT. We'll be putting up a post, we will be retweeting it. And you will have to vote because just like Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. I'm sure I got that right this week. So essentially, all you have to do is go on and vote between Gladiator, La Vita è Bella, La Dolce Vita, and The Italian Job for the best film set in Italy. Okay, last week our topic was
the best time travel movie.
and our contenders were?
Our contenders were Terminator 2, Back to the Future Part 2, and Avengers Endgame. 434 people voted on this one. It was a nice turnout.
Cool.
We had a few comments as always. Excuse me, getting a bit of a chest cough. Nostalgia Cat put, time travel logic is always a headache, inducing, and T2 is definitely a miracle of form over function. But once you ask, why didn't Skynet just send back another Terminator to head off Sarah and Kyle at the factory? The whole thing unravels. That's a fair comment.
Don't ruin my film, please.
Kulich put, all classics, went for Endgame as its almost perfect culmination of 20 plus films. Almost impossible to choose between that and the others for me, though. Chris Trengrove put, so much for excluding Back to the Future, but of these four, Back to the Future 1 is my answer. Francis Lalonde put, voted for Back to the Future, but 12 Monkeys would be an honorable mention. Gregory Van Joan put, my answer is completely final, Back to the Future. Star Magician put, correct answer, Interstellar. No.
Okay.
That's an awful film. I hate Interstellar.
Brian's Kitties put, these are all great choices, but I am sure that when the discussion of time travel and movies comes up, that Back to the Future is probably first and foremost. Officer Jimmy put Terminator 2. Teddy put, more like one of these movies does not belong. Classics versus question mark. That was a cheap shot at Avengers Endgame.
Really?
Marcus Gorman put Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. No. And Snooze put Back to the Future, but Terminator 2 is a real close second. AJ, start guessing.
Number 4, Endgame.
No.
Okay, Back to the Future Part 2.
Yes. Back to the Future Part 2 got wrecked. 7%.
Absolute bastard. Probably my all-time favorite, Louis. I think that was like my cinema, like that's me. Like, yeah. Anyway, all good. Right. Then Endgame.
With 10%.
T2.
T2 with 33%.
And then Back to the Future.
Back to the Future Part 1 with 50% of the vote. Destruction in polls.
Great, Scott. Okay, guys. Yes, thank you very much, Louis. Absolutely amazing having you on. But just want to put it out there once again. Movie MT Rushmore at Movie Polls for You. Just head on over there. You've got a few days to vote. Vote for your favorite film set in Italy. There is no right answer. They're all freaking awesome movies. Yeah, Louis, is there anything you would like to plug for yourself, mate?
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in football-y stuff rather than films, just follow me on my YouTube channel, which is just my name. Louis Beneventi. I do talk quite a lot about films on Twitter and TV, to be fair. So if you want to follow my Twitter as well, my name as well with an underscore between the two, and my Instagram is just my name as well. And then if you want to follow Grass Football Club and see more of Nico outside of the pod, make sure you head across to Imperial Wharf.
You can follow everything that the Silver Screen Dudes are doing at www.silverscreendudes.com. And please check out also our Ministry of Wrestling podcast, which airs every single Saturday. But that's it from us.
Okay, yeah. So until next week, guys, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
I'm Nico Lero.
See ya.
See ya.